Okay, no worries. Let's start. Everyone, most of the people joined. So, we have seen each and every aspect of a CI pipeline in the last class. What are the options with the CI pipeline? Where we can configure the variables, where we can configure the options. All those things we have seen in the last class. So, if you edit the pipeline, then this is the pipeline. Then resources where you get from the source code from, then the job. Okay, so as of now is a Azure pipeline agent, then all the tasks. So same task which we create in our local, like for developing our application, same task only, like restoring, building, then publish pipeline artifact, all those things. Then in the variable section we can define the variables which are used as a configuration variables, right, for different tasks like build configuration. So if you want debug or release, whatever configuration you want, you can provide up here. Then triggers, we seen the continuous integration trigger, like as soon as we click on this, and as soon as someone pushes the code to the that particular branch which is applied in the branch filters here, so a pipeline will start building up. Then in the options we have seen what all are options we can see here, like uh, here you can automatically link new work. So as soon as the build completes, you can click on here. You can include some branch, like you have to build this work after this one. Then if there is a failure in the pipeline, then you can create an item, a task, anything. So if the pipeline fails and related to that, you want to create a bug, and you can assign the request. Okay, assign to requester means who is requesting, who is having the pipeline, that one will be having it assigned to its work. Okay, so it will create a bug, it can create a task, it can create an epic feature, whatever you want, it can create according to the process, whatever process you are following, agile process, scrum process. So whatsoever process you are following, according to it, on the failure of the pipeline, it will create that task or item. Then in the build job configuration, so in this current project, build job timeout, it's 60 minutes. Means if in 60 minutes build pipeline doesn't completes, then it will time out. Okay. Then build job cancel timeout 10 minutes. If you want to cancel the pipeline, if you want to cancel the pipeline, then you can cancel it in 5 minutes. So build and release. Okay. Then in history, you will get all these things. Then here, save and queue. So if you want to queue the pipeline, then directly you can save and queue. If you want to discard the changes in the pipeline, discard. In summary is nothing. It will show you all that runs, execution of the pipelines, all the execution of the pipelines. And then simple queue. And here you want, if you want, you can open the security. You can set the security from here. So this was all about build pipelines, which we discussed. There are some more you can say some more options in the pipeline. Like you can import a pipeline here.
Abhishek, but just once I edit that, no, edit pipeline
Uh-huh.
triggers.
Triggers continuous integration.
Once we enable this, we push the code, then it will start building, right?
Right.
Automatically.
Yes.
Only this is important in this particular section, right?
Enable continuous integration, or you can, if you are not doing this thing, you can add in a schedule. Like every day at 2 p.m., the pipeline will run. Whether it will run every day at 2 p.m. If you check this one, only schedule build if the source pipeline has changed. So if anything is changed, then only it will run at 2 p.m. But if I uncheck this, then it will run every day at 2 p.m.
Daily.
regardless of any changes merged to the main branch.
Okay, these two options, right? One is schedule it, or other one is like continuous.
Continuous integration, yes.
Once the code is pushed,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Thank
And then if you want like build when another build completes, so if for build completion you want to add another build to be completed first, you can add that. This option you will get in enterprise level or some. Okay, as of now you will not get this.
you. Okay.
So this is all about like build pipeline. Now we are discussing environments. So here what you can do, uh no, we have not discussed about the environment. Okay, let's see. So in the environment part, what you can do here, you can create your environments. Like when you create an environment, like I create development can give nice description about that. Whatever environment resource you want to keep it, virtual machine, Kubernetes, where you want to deploy it, you can choose it. If you choose none, it will create a blank, like development environment. Similarly, you can create a QA as well, development QA, and you can create production as well, like this. Now in the development, add the resource. Add the resource. Click on add whatever you want to add. Kubernetes namespace, virtual machines. If you want to add virtual machines, it will ask like provider, generic provider, operation system, Windows, Linux, whatever machine you want to add, you can add.
What was the first one? Kubernetes?
Pardon?
What's the first one? First option, was it? Was
First
it both?
option was Kubernetes namespace. So when you create a Kubernetes cluster in the Azure portal, you can you can create different namespaces in that Kubernetes cluster. Namespace is a kind of a boundary. Okay, means you have a development Kubernetes cluster. In the development namespace, then you have a QA Kubernetes cluster. Then you can have a prod Kubernetes cluster. All will be there in the different namespaces. So you can
Mhm.
add a particular namespace. So that namespace will depend on here whatever Kubernetes cluster you will create in your portal. Got it?
Yeah.
So you can add. Similar to that, you can add to the QA, you can add to the prod. So environment is nothing, just we are defining. Like if we want to deploy anything into say dev environment, so we can give that environment variable here in the pipeline, and from here it will take that particular resource and it will deploy over there. So it's just a simple thing, not that much. Okay. Here also you can have security, like user permissions for contributors, project administrators, project valid users. Okay. You can add some more if you want in the security section. Then comes the releases. Now, first pipeline, first continuous integration, we have seen that uh, code is you developed some code in your local, then you pushed into the remote repository from the local repository, and from there a continuous integration is triggered, and that runs the build pipeline. And then comes at last the continuous deployment, which is a release pipeline. So here, when you start creating a release pipeline, so here it will ask, very first thing it will ask, from where you have to take it, what artifact you have to download. So build demo project source, demo project CI means this is the pipeline which we build. build pipeline, demo project CI. Default version, which version, like you want the last version, you want the latest version of your code which is deployed. You can choose latest. You can give specific version number. So you can mention the version number. Okay. Source, this one, you can give any name in the source alias. Okay. And you can add. Here, demo project CI is added. Means whatever will be there, which will be built to the build pipeline, that artifact will be taken as here from that particular pipeline. Now in the stages. So add a stage, click on add stage. Now see, there are many tasks like Azure App Service deployment, deploy a Java Web App to Azure Service, deploy Node.js, deploy PHP, deploy a Kubernetes cluster, IaaS website, SQL development, Azure App Service with continuous monitoring, Azure App Service deployment with slot. Okay. Now, as we are having a web app service, what we can do, we can go here and we can create an app service here. App service. You can go to app service and you can create an app service here. Web app. Okay. We are having a simple web app, so we can create that. Resource group, you can choose demo RG. Web app name. So I'll say AC 400 since we are learning Azure DevOps. Okay. And let's take it 01A hyphen web app. Okay. We can take this name. I can remove this as well. Then code Docker container static web app, leave it. Runtime stack. We have six. Windows region East US.
.NET Core, right? It is 6, .NET 6 then. All right.
Huh?
Other, nothing, same.
No, I was saying like whatever we developed over there in our local.
Yeah, .NET 6 only, Core is 6.
Yes. Yeah, region East US, Windows plan, let it be whatever it is, pricing plan, leave it. Zone redundancy, go to next. We don't want to create. If you want to create a database, you have a backend, you can create a database as well, like this. Okay, whatever engine you want. You want SQL, Azure, PostgreSQL, MySQL, Cosmos DB, whatever you want, you can create it. You can give the server name and the database name. So we don't want a database here. Now deployment. So it is taking from the GitHub account as of now. You can, in order to sign in with a different account, please go to www.github.com and log out of the account currently signed into GitHub. Okay. Enable public access on, enable network injection off, monitoring. I don't want monitoring. If you want, you can enable application inside. So it will create an application inside. Or let's see, let's make it on this one. It will create an application inside service. Tags, review and create. Create this app service. Did anyone created new resume out of it? Like that from the resume builder?
My old resume only, I changed little bit of layout and all. I just wanted to see the design and all. It is not giving me to download 2-3 pages. So I created yesterday one.
Okay.
Good looking, little bit of UI and all added.
Mm-hmm. As of now, there is only one slot. You can add slots over here, like staging. So you can give name staging. Staging slot is created. This is the staging slot. Now what you can do, you can go over here in your pipeline section. Azure App Service Deployment with slot. Try to apply this. Okay, now this is applied. If you go into the job, here you can see deploy Azure App Service to slot. That is the task already added since I choose that template to be deployed. Okay, Azure App Service with slot. So if we are in the stage here, you can give any name to the stage. Okay, like you can give web app deploy Azure subscription. Which subscription you can have, like Azure Service Connection. So if you will be taking subscription, then you have to manually authorize. Okay, so already we created a connection. So you can create a connect. You can select the connection. Which connection? The service connection. Okay, then app type web app on Windows. So we created a web app service which is on Windows. Okay, so you can select that. You can select web app on Linux, web app on containers, whatever you want. App service name, Azure web app, right? Deploy to the slot or app environment or app service environment. Okay, so resource group, it will take from demo rg slot. It is not taking. Slot. See, staging. So whenever I'll be deploying anything, first I'll be deploying into staging. For just for an example, app service. So I have two slots over there. You can create some more slots as well, like development. So you will never directly deploy into the production. You will deploy into the slots, right? And then after deploying it, once successfully deployed, there is a swapping service. So you will be swapping it. Okay. So either if you don't want to add, you want to manually swap from there, you can do that. There also you can manually swap using the portal, and here also you can, here it will swap it automatically. Okay, once deployed to the staging slot. So this is the first web app deployment. Now if you go to the run agent, so run on agent, you have the agent pool. Okay, you have Azure pipeline agent, you have hosted Windows 2019. Okay, you can choose any of it. Then timeout you can set, like for example, you can set 60 minutes. Job cancel timeout 1 minute. Artifact download, from where it will download the artifact. So CI pipeline. Okay. Additional script you have, you can give it. Okay. And then only when all previous jobs have succeeded. Now, if you come to deploy Azure App Service to slot, here deploy Azure App Service to slot, connection type, publish profile or Azure Resource Manager. So Azure Resource Manager, connection name, this one, app service type, Windows, web app on Windows, and then app service name is easy, whatever we have given. Okay. And we choose that we'll be deploying into the slots. So that's why it has shown us the slot, staging slot. Okay, so resource group demo RG, slot, staging slot. Virtual application, what is this? So specify the name of virtual application that has been configured in the Azure portal. The option is not required for deployment to the app service route. So we don't have, as of now, we have not set any kind of virtual application thing, okay, on the Azure portal. Package to the folder. So system default working directory, from there it will take. What is this default working directory? The working directory where we have run our build, and there it has created a package in the zip form. Okay, so it is taking the package from there. So this is the file part to the package or a folder containing app service contents generated by MS Build, or a compressed zip or WAR file. Okay. For example, system default working directory slash, then the folder name slash dot zip. Or in case of Java, it will be a var. Okay. As of now, it is zip since we are developing on a .NET framework. Linked artifact from here. If you go down, drop. File transformers and variable substitution options. Generate a web config. We don't have to do this. This is for Java projects and all. Okay. Additional deployment options. Let's see. Select deployment method. If unchecked, we will auto detect the best deployment method. Okay. If you want to select a deployment method, then we have to check it. Based on your app type, package format, and other parameters, select the option to view and supported deployment methods and choose one of the deploying your app. So you can choose any deployment method like deployment method, web deploy, zip deploy, run from the package. If we don't choose it, they will choose automatically, whichever is suitable. Okay. So leave it blank. They will choose it. Post deployment action. If you want any type of post deployment action like deployment script type, select deployment script type, any inline script you want to run. After post deployment, you can run that script. Application and configuration settings. So app settings. So edit web application settings following the syntax key value containing the spaces should be enclosed in double. So if you want to give some variables like standard variables or something like system variables at the time of running that or deploying that application, so that will be added to the app settings file. Okay, while deployment. Configuration settings, any kind of configuration settings you want to give, you can give. That will be going to the configuration settings file. Okay. Control options, same. If you click on this, it will disable. Continue on error. If you click on this, it will continue on the error as well. Number of retries, no. Okay. If a task fails first time only, then there is no, you can say, Doesn't matter if you take number of retries, means there is any issue, that's why it has failed. Okay, so no need to check this option or give some retries. Okay, timeout you can give. Run this task when all previous tasks are have succeeded. Okay. Now manage Azure App Service slot swapping. Now here manage Azure. This is the task name. You can change the task name. Slot swap only you can keep or whatever you want. Azure subscription. So we have taken again the connection, service connection, action, swapping of slot. Now there can be different actions like start app service, stop app service, restart app service.
This is by the default, we got this job, right? Manage Azure App Service.
Actually we have chosen the template. So that's why we got these two tasks. Okay, already. Like if you go into the build pipeline and you choose a template for Maven, so it will give all the tasks related to Maven over there. Similarly, we have chosen a template that deploy web app using slot. So it has given these two tasks already created in the template.
So here, exactly what does that slot mean, Abhishek? Like,
we have in the admin part, we have created this web app.
okay, yeah.
So in the web app, you have deployment slots like this.
Okay.
You can create a slot from here. Like this is the staging, this is the production. You can create a development also. Development slot. You can add that slot.
Okay, if we give this reference to these
Means
slots,
whenever you are deploying your application, don't deploy into production directly. Okay, with this service, in this app service. Okay, try to deploy it in dev, test it. See, now 3 slots are there. So development slot, staging slot, and production slot.
okay.
Okay, and say for example, you are we from the pipeline we are deploying in the staging, and then once it is deployed successfully, we will be switching it to the production. Okay,
Swapping.
say if you have some error in the code and you will directly deploy into the production, so the code which is already running in the production, what will happen? Say some stable version is running in the production and you deployed the code with the errors into the production.
Fail.
Yeah, it will fail, or if it is a success also, then also what will happen?
Site will go for a toss.
Yeah, so better to deploy in the staging non-prod environment
So here, if at
or
all,
non-prod slot.
that is, I mean, noted. The production, if you remove, there will be staging and development, right? Two slots.
If
So
you will be creating the app service, then you have to create these slots.
that task will automatically shift between once it is deployed in development, a successful means it will go
Once it
to,
is successfully deployed,
Mhm.
then it will swap. Okay.
It will start deploying
Yes,
and staging
but
also.
if you don't want to swap it from the pipeline, you can go over there in the pipeline and you can disable this task. So it will only deploy in the staging, it will not swap.
Abhishek, here
And then,
the question 1 second, please.
Mhm.
So here in this we are selecting as staging. So once this is running, it will deploy into staging, right?
Correct.
So after that, it will automatically, I mean, deploy into development or available other slot or what exactly?
See, this I created to show you that there is a slot. You can
Right,
create
there
that
is slot.
slot. Okay. Wait, now let me delete this one. We have only 2 slots.
Okay,
Production was the default one.
right.
So where's the refresh? Production was the default one. When I created this web app, it has created me only one slot, that is production.
Okay.
Now, whenever I'm releasing something, I don't want to release directly in the production. So I created a slot here, staging slot.
Okay.
Now, what I'll do when I am creating the pipeline here in the web app deployment, here it has given me all the options. Why it has given me all the options? Because I've chosen that template, web app deployment using slot. That was the template.
Okay.
Okay. And from there, I have given everything over. Now, where I have to deploy? I have to deploy in the staging slot. You can choose which slot. Okay. If you don't choose this one, deploy to slot, it will directly deploy to the default slot.
That is the production which is in that.
Correct. Which is created while creating the web app service.
So it will. So this task will deploy into only one slot.
This task will deploy into staging.
Right. I mean, selected slot.
Yes. Okay. We have set all these things, and these task has taken all these things from there only. Web app deployment, what we have set over there.
Okay.
Now deploy Azure app service to the slot. So it is now here what I have given the staging slot of this web app name, and then all the options related to that. And then if after deploying it, if I want to swap it, I can swap the slot over here only. Now from where it will swap, action is swapping of the slot. You can perform different actions also, like start app service, stop app service, restart app service. Okay, all those things you can do it. So swapping from where? Source slot. From where? Staging to production. Now swap with production. You can choose it. Swap with production.
So after deploying staging, it will swap again with production. I mean,
Correct.
automatically it will change, right?
Yes.
So it will only by this job
But
running, it will deploy into both.
no, not both. Only one.
Only once it runs, it will deploy
You are
into.
deploying into stage, and then you are swapping it with the production.
Now that should be clear in this diagram.
I already having one application running in my production. That is a stable version. Okay.
Right.
Production. And this is staging. Or this is a apps, some application like web app 1, and it is running on some version like B 1.0 something, and this version is stable version. And now the product owner comes to me with adding some more features to this stable version. Okay, he wants some more features, so that product owner will come to me. Now this is a product owner, and he will suggest me those changes. Okay, I want these kind of changes. This is the product owner. Now again product owner will come. I've taken the changes, okay, these kind of, and I started working on those changes. So I'll be working on those changes, and then what I'll do after making the changes, I'll be pushing the changes to the remote repo. So here I'll write proposed some changes. And what I'll be doing, implementing the changes. Implementing the changes in version control. Now, after implementing the changes, what I'll do, this after implementing the changes, there will be again a build pipeline will be there, which will build the new version of that code with whatever changes he proposed me. So there is a build CI, continuous integration, CI pipeline will be there. And then once this is built, using that latest artifact, I am deploying it using the deployment pipeline, or you can say release pipeline. So there is a release pipeline here. Now say for example, whatever changes I have made, this should not be liked by the product owner. So what I'll do, I'll not directly touch this production application since it is a stable version, already a stable version running. Why I'll go and deploy directly into the production? No, first I'll be deploying it into the staging slot like this. And once everything is okay, then what I'll be doing now, I'll be just doing one thing. I'll be swapping. Once this is stable, once this is also stable, this staging, whatever I've deployed the new code. So here I can give this web app 1, same application. What is the version now? So version is v 1.1, new version. Okay. Now once this has been tested, everything is done. What I'll be doing, I'll be swapping this with the production like this. Whatever is running in the production, it will go to the staging, and whatever now I have developed and deployed for the staging, that will come to the production. So here we will do a swap. That is a swap. Got it, or still you have a confusion?
I mean, after the stable, by selecting that swap, automatically it will be deployed in production also. That was my question. I understood all these things.
That is provided by Azure, na? That swapping and all features, that is done by Azure.
Okay, that automatically it will
Right.
deploy into production.
Right.
But how does that know it is stable or not? Something from our side also we should.
So for that purpose only, I was telling that if you don't want to swap from here, you can cancel this task. You can disable this task.
Okay.
You can only deploy into the staging. And once you test it, where you will test it, this staging application is having its like say default domain. You can go here, you can test it. Like if you go to that production domain, in the production domain, you have this one. See, this web page is coming.
Okay, that is automated. To stop that, we can disable that. Fine.
And there you can disable it. And once you test that staging one, what you can do from here only you can swap. Like click on swap. Choose the source, choose the target, swap it after testing and all. Okay. Now you got it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The application integrated with Azure Web App.
Your voice is too low. Can you speak aloud?
Am I audible now, Abhishek?
Yes.
Just a query, like since we integrated an application with Azure Web App and we selected GitHub as the to pull the code.
Mhm.
So that means an application which we didn't create a pipeline here can be implemented, right?
Yes, that's what we have making this service connection that will help us.
So we can just plan for release here, not a build pipeline, just a release pipeline.
Yes.
Okay. That means like if even someone who's in the non-coding background can able to integrate this and work.
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, we can do.
There are no variables as of now. So variable section here in the deployment, like you are working on the environment section. And so in the environment section, I've told you that how you can create an environment, a development environment, staging environment, production environment. So you can integrate the resources. Now, for example, I have to deploy this same application into the virtual machine or a Kubernetes cluster or Kubernetes namespace. Then I can make use of the variable section. I can define the environment variables as well, all those things. Since I'm all deploying in the Azure Web App, as of now, it is no need the variable section. Okay. Now retention. What is retention? So keep for 30 days, minimum of 3 deployment releases and keep artifacts. So whatever the artifacts and all, using those artifacts which you have deployed, so you can keep those for 30 days. You can keep this release for 30 days. This release run, what we are talking about, the release execution. So days to retain a release, 30 days. Minimum releases to keep, you can keep it 3. And if you are retaining this release, then retain associated artifacts also. So using whatever artifacts you are releasing, keep that artifacts also for 30 days. Okay. So that is a retention.
After 30 days, it will be deleted.
Yes, it will be deleted from this.
But the application will be running, right? Where it is hosted?
Application will be running, definitely.
Only this backup, all those things will be clean.
Ha.
Yeah.
That's why they maintain the artifact section. Like you can keep the artifacts.
Right.
Options. So
these will be maintained in artifacts, right, Abhishek? I mean, all these things which you said shown.
definitely you have to maintain. You can
Take them.
maintain artifacts with the Azure pipeline, or you can keep those artifacts in the file shares.
Now,
Otherwise, like tomorrow your product owner will come, okay, I don't like this release, please revert it back. So without having that version of the old version of the artifact, like he came after 6 months, say, and he's saying, I'm not liking this version anymore, please revert it back. So after 6 months, your pipeline will remove it. So how you will be deploying then? So making use of your Azure files, and there you have already saved your artifacts. So using those artifacts only, you will deploy it again.
Or revert back to that particular this one, right? Repos.
Pardon?
I mean, like the coding or the 6 months back, whichever I mean commit ran, which is
That's what your version and control is for. Version control is for keeping all the versions of your code, what you have developed in the past and what are you developing in the current and what will you develop in the future. It will keep all the versions of your code.
that is okay. Here in artifact section, we will be saving. I mean, all these things you said that I did not get.
Like artifact, say for example, publish artifact. I kept the artifact with the name publish.zip. Now I'll be giving it some name, some version like 1.0, 1.0, the version to that artifact as well. And I will be keeping it into the somewhere in the artifact section, which is provided by this Azure DevOps, or I'll be keeping into the file share. So if you keep with the artifacts, what will happen? Azure will charge for an extra storage. But since you are having some storage account in your Azure portal only, what you will do, you will go over there, you will create a file share over there. Like here, you can go to the storage account. You already have a storage account, and you can go to the file share and you can create a file share over here. Okay, and you can give that file share over there. So whatever the artifacts will be produced will be downloading over here in the file share. So you can keep all the artifacts, maintain all the artifacts with the file share. Now say for example, you have a storage account capacity of some like 128 GB or 500 GB or whatever. Or you are already paying for a storage. Why you will pay for a storage over here?
How to set that folder for that share file?
I've already done in the admin part. Go and see
Ah,
the admin
oh,
part.
oh, okay. No, Abhishek. Here I'm saying in after we build, no, you
You
mentioned
have to give that. So in the build pipeline, I told you, in the build pipeline, if you go,
there we have to give that file share wala path, right?
yes, in the, if you go to the build pipeline,
Mhm.
here
We did that.
in the edit section, here see publish pipeline artifact.
Right.
If you don't want to publish it to the artifact pipeline, you can share it to the file share also.
Okay, right.
Okay, and once you select this one, you have to give that file share
That
path.
particular file share path.
Yes. Okay, like this. So you can save your version of the artifact over here.
Okay. If at all we are not sharing this, I mean, there will be some limit, right? Only 6 months of retention time we will be going back. Otherwise, it will be deleted, right?
Yes. See, set the number of days to retain a release deployed to this stage. Any release can be retained for at least 1 day and a maximum of 365 days. So you can retain it for 365 days as well. Okay.
But he'll bill, right? Based on billing.
Since say you are having 10 projects, 20 projects, if for every project you will go and retain, they will keep some storage for you.
Right.
And then they will charge for that. Now options. So you can describe the purpose of this pipeline, any purpose. Release name format. Now, whatever release you are making, if you want to give some format to it, okay, so you can give like a release hyphen and whatever the release version or whatever you want to give, you can give it. Okay, so set the format for the default name of release from this release pipeline. Use predefined variables to generate unique release names. Okay, so you can have predefined variables and from there you can generate pre-release name from. So if you go to the documentation part here, classic release pipelines, generate p-logs, render deployment, download artifacts, agent selection. It just shows the release number. So when you see all the run of the releases, whatever you will mention here, it will show that particular number of the release. So release hyphen and whatever you defined in the variable section, whatever it is. Okay, any string, any number, whatever you will define. Okay, it will show that release hyphen and the number. Integrations, report deployment status to the repository host stages, report deployment status to work, report deployment status to the boards. Okay, now these are integrations, like integration with the board, integration with the Jira. Okay, enable the deployment status badge. All those integrations you can do it here. Like if you are deploying something and you want to update the status in the Jira, you can check this one. Since your Azure DevOps is associated to the Jira board. So you can update over there. So once you update in the Jira board, what will happen? Say if you created a task for the deployment and the deployment is complete, then if you implemented this with the Jira board or integrated with the Jira board, automatically your task will be completed over there. Once you have successfully deployed the code using the release pipeline. Report deployment status to the boards means if you check on this, so in the Azure boards, if you have any task created, it will be already marked as done. Okay. Then history will show you all the runs, whatever the runs will be. So this is the web deployment task. Now, since we are deploying into the app service and we have created the stages over here in the app service section. Like here. But if you are deploying into some VMs, so you need to create different VMs, dev VM, stage VM, QA VM. Then what you can do, you can add the stages up. You can add the stages. Like this is a dev stage, this is a production stage, this is a staging stage. You can add the number of stages then. Different stages. Since for app service, we are using already in the app service, they have provided that functionality. Okay, and that feature that they have different slots, you can create that different slots over there only in the app service. So you can deploy it directly from here in the one stage, single stage only. Now there are some more options like continuous deployment trigger. Now this continuous deployment trigger means whenever a code is pushed to the remote repo from the local repo, a CI pipeline will trigger, and as soon as a CI pipeline completes and it builds some artifact, then that artifact will be consumed by this release pipeline automatically and it will deploy into the web app. That is a continuous deployment trigger. So if you check this one, as of now, see, continuous deployment trigger is disabled. Okay, so this can be enabled. Another one is pull request trigger. So if you enable this, it will create a release every time a selected artifact is available as a part of pull request workflow. So if some artifact is a part of pull request, like you created a pull request, and as soon as you created a pull request, a build pipeline initiates. And as soon as the build pipeline initiates, it will create an artifact. And as soon as the artifact is created, it will run the release pipeline and it will deploy your task. So continuous deployment trigger, build also, and pull request trigger also. You can check both over here. But you have to give the filters. You have to provide the filters. What filters? Branch filters. Okay, for continuous deployment trigger. Now, after continuous deployment trigger, you can set the schedule also. You can, like, we can set the schedule in the build pipeline. I've shown you. Here also, you can set the schedule of the release pipeline. Same way. Whatever you were doing it in the build pipeline, you can set here also. Now, pre-deployment conditions. This is the option for pre-deployment conditions. Now, before deploying anything, you can set the pre-deployment conditions. What pre-deployment conditions? Okay. Define the trigger that will start deployment on this stage. After release, okay. Artifact filters. As of now, it is disabled. Okay. As of now, no artifact filter added. So artifact from only I want the artifact from the demo project CI pipeline. So you can keep that artifact filter over here if you want. Schedule. So you can set the schedule over here. Pull request deployment. So if you want to deploy using some pull request, so as of now here, like this release definition is currently not configured to trigger pull request based releases. So pull request based releases, they have not enabled as for now the release pipeline. Okay, that is only for the build pipeline only. They have not done yet. Pre-deployment approvals, any kind of approval you want, predefined approvals, like select the approvers. You can give the name, enter at least one approver. Okay. So you can now see, as soon as I added the approver, a tick mark has been there created there in front of that sign, approver sign. As of now, there is no tick mark against the approver sign. But as soon as I check this and I give some approver name, see, there's a tick mark. Means the deployment will only occur when this person will give the approval. Means as soon as a build pipeline completes and it will come to the release pipeline. So before deploying, so this part will execute. First part, artifacts part will execute. It will download the artifact. But at the second step, when it will deploy to your resource, what will happen before that? An email will trigger to that particular approver that this pipeline needs to be deployed, or this application or code needs to be deployed. So approver will go and check whether correct version you are using or not. Everything it will check and then it will approve. As soon as this approver will click on approve, this deployment pipeline will start running. That is pre-deployment approval. Okay. Timeout time for pre-deployment approval means you can set the timeout. Means if in 30 days I did not see that approval request, then automatically it will approve. Okay. You can set the number of days, 1 days, 2 days. Okay. You can set hours, you can set minutes. For example, you can set 6 hours or 8 hours. If in 8 hours, this person does not see that approval request, it will automatically approve. The user now approval policies. The user requesting a release or deployment should not approve it. Revalidate identity of approver before completing the approval. Skip approval if the same approver approved the change previous stage.
Absolutely, here timeout is there, right? If at all he does not approve in 8 hours, it will
It will automatically approve.
it auto approve, is it?
Yes. Okay. So that is a kind of a manual intervention. Means people should go and now if you don't want like that it will auto approve, you can increase the number of time. Like you can keep it 2 days. Now in 2 days someone will see, or in 5 days someone at least he will see. But if you are making some production release, you cannot wait for the 5 days of time.
Logically.
Yeah, one should have to approve that. Okay. If one should not see and approve it, then it is a violation, right? He may face consequences then, that why you don't have approved.
That is correct.
Yeah. So this is a pre-deployment approvals, all these things. Okay. Gates. Define gates to evaluate before the deployment. So you can define the gates. Okay. The delay before evaluation. Add gates that evaluate health parameters. So they are periodically re-evaluated in parallel. When all gates succeed for the success criteria duration, the deployment will proceed. If this does not occur before the timeout period, the deployment is rejected. Means first thing you will give the timeout for the gates here, like whatever hours, whatever minutes, say 5 hours. And then you can add the deployment gates over there. Now, what deployment gates are there? Check Azure policy compliance. Okay, security and compliance assessment for Azure policy. Then invoke Azure function. If you want to invoke some Azure function while deployment, then that is invoke REST API, query Azure monitor alerts. So it will check whether it will run a query that all the Azure monitor alerts are up to date or not. Okay, before the deployment. Then query work items, means it will go to the Azure boards and it will query all the work items. Execute a work item query and check the number of items returned. Okay, what means it will execute a query and it will return with the result of the number of work items, whatever it is left. Okay, so all these, if you want to apply these kind of gates, see, these options totally depend on your organization. Okay, so how you are developing in your organization, how you are deploying in your organization, how you are doing the releases, what options you prefer while doing the releases, all those things. Okay, it depends. So, and it is not like that dependency you will think, okay, we need this or something like that. Means whatever the condition is there, according to that condition only you will work and choose the options. So you can say gates is more about like safety in the deployment. So before deploying it, you can choose the gates. Deployment queue settings. Now, number of parallel. Now here is also a parallelism kind of request. Like if you are deploying, say if Vamsi is deploying and I have pushed the code at the same time, my build is complete and my release pipeline is in the queue. If I don't want to keep it in the queue, I can make a parallelism request. Okay. So maximum number of parallel deployments, 1. You can choose it 2 also, 3 also. Okay. So you will need those kind of requests which can run parallel pipelines. Okay. So here, okay. Now the last one, post deployment conditions. Now post deployment conditions also, here what we were saying were the pre-deployment conditions. Here what you are saying is the post deployment conditions. So post deployment approvals, select the users who can approve or reject deployments on this stage. Okay, you can choose. Gates, same, all those things, whatever we have seen in the gates section. Auto redeploy trigger. Configure the events that trigger automated redeployment. So you can choose, select the events. Deployment to this stage fails. So once the deployment to the current stage fails, select the action, redeploy the last successful deployment. Now, this will also help if current deployment fails and the last deployment was the stable deployment. Now you know that why the retention policy is important. Got it? Why retention was important?
Yes.
So in the retention, if it will keep the last build or last artifact or last run, what will happen? If this current deployment fails, like within 2 months you are deploying the new feature and this current deployment fails and you have kept the retention period for 90 days, then it will redeploy the last successful deployment. That's why the retention policy is important.
In file share also it is 90 days, say.
No, file share, you can keep it for any time. Like,
so that should be the best option, right?
yes. Then you have to do some manual steps. Okay.
Yeah. Because we are not sure that I mean regularly how much time it will take for the new version or the failure of the other version, right? So that's what I was thinking.
Yes. Okay. Now you can save this and you can create a release. So web deployment stages for a now here this is the pipeline. Click on the stage to change its trigger if you want. Okay. Stages for a trigger change for automated or manual. Artifacts from here. Version the latest one. So it has selected the 19. Okay, you can see here if you go to the demo project, as I have chosen the latest one, if you go to the pipeline, it has taken the 19th one, this one. So that's why. Release description you can give. Create. Now this is the release. Not start. Let's see if it deploys or not. Otherwise. Successfully updated deployment history. Job is completed. Let's see if it has deployed successfully or not. Can you see? Whatever we had in our index file, CSTML, is all deployed. Like any issues with the release pipeline, you can ask. Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Any questions on this release pipeline? We'll again perform it with different options. As of now, we have not seen the automation trigger, all those things we have to see.
Yeah,
Manual intervention we have to see. All those things we'll be seeing. Okay, in the on Wednesday. Okay.
Abhishek, like you said,
can
this
we get another example like with the same release pipeline and anything with Kubernetes or something?
Sure, definitely.
Yeah.
we are yet to cover that Kubernetes and Docker, right, Abhishek?
That actually, as of now, I was just explaining this pipeline thing, releases and all. I'm
Okay.
just like trying to move to the lab side, and then I'll do all those containers and Kubernetes as well. Okay.
And one more thing you said, this particular task item will get updated once this release is complete and all. Can we have something task created on that boards and link it to this? I mean,
Then
even
we have
that,
to, we have to create and then
like that we added some merge all these things, right? If we create some task and link to it, it will be like complete circle till that things are stored in this environment or artifacts, all these things we can see in one go, right? That is what I was thinking.
right.
Please explain that, Abhishek. Okay.
Okay. Okay. As of now, release pipeline is fine. Okay. How it
Yeah.
is deployed. Yeah. We'll go it now. Next class, we can see task group, how to create a task group, and then the deployment group. That's it. So, and then the artifacts, and then this will complete. Okay. We'll go with the
That
labs.
in that example, we can have this board linked to all these repos, pipelines and artifacts. You got me, right?
We'll see that in the lab part, na? All these things, linking all these things. Okay.
Oh, complete. I mean, end to end.
Yes, end to end. Okay. We'll see that in labs.
I thought
As
we
of now,
need
just we are completing the components. What are the
component.
components of Azure DevOps? Okay, each and every component. Like first we completed the boards, then repos, then pipelines we are completing, and something about test plans if I found out, because test plans I don't have any idea in. Okay. Since I was not from the testing field and all, so I don't have any idea for test plans. Mainly testing team works on these things. Okay. And then the artifacts. So artifacts is nothing, just you can create a feed, and in that feed you can collect your all the artifacts. That feed is nothing but the storage only.
Okay.
So as of now, two things are left: task groups, deployment groups, and then artifacts. These three things, and then we can start with the lab. Okay.
I mean, that linking, I mean, if at all.
That linking you will get in the labs, no? That's what
Okay.
I'm saying. Yeah.
And Abhishek, this one, for example, you have some users, right, under you, like your after main account, you have created user 1, 2, 3 in
And
previous.
just for explaining purpose, I created those
Right.
users.
If at all you create that each task for it and assign to that user, no, you can log in and I mean approve from this main account. All that process we can see, right? So that was I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You got me right. Real time scenario, how it happens.
Real time scenario, if you want to do, then I create a epic here.
Board.
Then you can develop and you can create. I'll create
That's
the pipeline for you.
I mean, from our side, we can push it, right? I mean, from our
You can push
then
it.
you can
No worries.
approve.
Yeah, you can push it.
That can we do it next class so that we'll work.
One class, it will not be done. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, at least you create the basics so that we'll work offline, and you know, in that class we can spend some time.
But how many people will work? There are only 3 users over there.
I am okay. So, I mean, at least they can see, right? I mean, how it happens and all.
Because like we have 11 people in the class, so it is okay when everyone works on that at the same time.
I mean, at least 3 users simultaneously we can show, right, how this happens, and who is interested, they can take.
I don't have any problem. I can provide you.
Anybody else? Shiva, Satish,
Which one, Amsi?
like he will create some task in board, okay? He'll assign it to us.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. We can split the work item like that and work.
So we have 3 more users, no? Abhishek will provide us each user for us so that we can, I mean, from our side, what we do, we'll push in and Abhishek will approve that all which happens in real time, no? He can explain it better way. Okay.
Okay, I do not have any problem with that. But I am saying that can we do that after the lab, because completion of the labs is very much necessary first, because we are already running late of time.
That also, I mean, however it is okay, Abhishek. I mean, that if at all it is done right in real time, how
Because
exactly
most of the things you will be getting in the labs when you will be completing in the
once
lab.
that is done, if it is easy, then post labs will do it. I mean,
Post labs, see, these things we can do it anytime. Like post lab will be fine, because this is not from the syllabus. Okay, I just want to complete the syllabus first. Otherwise, then we'll be lagging behind very much. Like already we are lagging behind 1 month.
fine. I mean, if at all everybody is okay with that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so just there are only 9 labs. Just complete those 9 labs, and then we can follow all those things. Okay.
Yes, Abhishek, please.
Because yeah, that we are doing for our purpose only. It's not like you can say it's not a part of that syllabus. Let's complete the syllabus first. Okay, otherwise we'll be more late to complete the
No,
syllabus.
we'll complete, but basically that is what I was talking, right? That is what happens in real time now. So even after learning, if some implementation, also if you learn how it exactly it works in
That
life.
is like that is what you are saying is an extra add-on that you can do. But why I'm saying this complete the syllabus, because many people are there who want to apply for the jobs. Okay.
Okay, Abhishek.
That's why I was just waiting for the completion of the syllabus, and then you can go ahead and you can apply for the jobs using the resume.
Okay, fine.
Okay.